welcome to another week of Internet Championship fighting. And tonight, let me tell you, we've got a pretty stacked card. We got 3 PlayStation fights and we got 2 Xbox fights. We're getting championship fights. We're getting 2 of those. We're getting #1 contendership shots. And we're having the 4th fight between Eric Young and Luke Libre.
And tonight is going to be a great card indeed, Kelvin. As we've got, for the main event, Dogu Altunay versus Dominic Artem Lopov. And in the co-main, the champion Charles Brunson versus Hussein Ofer. And for an interim Xbox Championship title fight, we have Oshin McGranigan versus Jay Prince. And coming in below in the co-main, Ben Walker versus Jose Alto. And finally, Eric Young versus Luke Libre for their 4th bout together. This is going to be a great night, in my opinion.
I'm pretty excited for these fights, man. I can't wait to watch them.
And Bobby, what do you think of the fights that we have going on tonight?
We got a pretty exciting slate of fights up tonight. There's a couple that I'm pretty hyped to see, mainly the Oshin and Jay fight. So I've really been looking forward to commentating that fight for the last week, so it's good to finally be here.
And I think that fight is going to be just an extra banger, just because of how those two men match up. They're always swinging, always trying to knock each other out at any moment in the fight.
Yeah, anytime you have 2 guys that just like to swing and bang, you're guaranteed to have almost a fight of the night right there.
Well, both of these guys are as game as they come, without a doubt. So it'll be a barn burner, I'm sure, and I'm pretty hyped to see it. So
I believe you're correct, Bobby. And now, let us get on to the first event. Eric Young versus Luke Libre 4.
I'm pretty excited for this fight, personally. I mean, the last time these 2 boys fought, it was an absolute barn burner. I mean, I'm surprised that Libre didn't drown in his mask, dude.
Really?
I mean, Libre's trying to prove that Eric Young was lucky with that knockout. And Young's trying to prove that he's got what it takes to stick around the top of this division.
There was so much blood and so many guts shown within that first 3 fights. Those were great showcases of both of these fighters. And now they're extremely experienced against each other.
Oh, look at that, a mutual bow. You always love to see it.
Always.
Here we go. Nice lead upper.
And it's starting off very technical to start. Libre is giving some ground up, though.
Keeping his distance. He's been working on his striking. He doesn't want to repeat of Eric Young, Luke Libre #3. Doing a lot of body straights, which I like to see. He's working that body of Eric Young because he knows if he gets that stamina down, those elbows won't hurt as much.
And Eric was landing some clean shots to start with, although it seems Libre is swinging the momentum back into his favor.
as you can see, neither of these guys are wasting any time. It's getting straight to putting the pressure on the other. So it already looks like this one's shaping up to be a banger.
It seems
a lot
to
of
be every
distance
time.
management from Luke Libre tonight. He's keeping his distance pretty well.
He is. And that just goes to show the experience of both of these men. They have numerous fights, and each of them and every one of them, you can see their styles evolve.
No, he tried to throw that spinning back kick to the body too close. Need to be a little bit farther back to get that landing clean.
And Eric
Oh,
Young
there we go.
using the other side.
If one side doesn't work, the other will. You throw the same thing twice, it'll happen the second time. Oh, good. Slip right there, moving straight to the side.
Libre has great movement, especially right when Eric Young is about to throw.
He's catching Eric Young in a lot of these small attacks. Just jab hooks, body straights to uppers. Just eating away at that head held.
Libre's definitely working that jab very well. He's landing some pretty nice shots in boxing range so far. But on the
You
flip
tell it
side,
can-
Eric's been landing some nice body work, so that's definitely something that I'd like to see more from him. As you can see, there's already a bit of a stamina discrepancy between Luke and Eric, so maybe he'll capitalize on that and keep working the body.
Oh, nasty overhand right there.
And Eric
I
just
think
chipping away
Libre-
with the knees.
He's landing that body knee quite well so far.
Ooh.
Another overhand. But a good slip from Eric Young right there.
I'm not sure if I'd call it lucky with that back slip there, Kelvin, but typically that's something that you wouldn't want to do, because if somebody lands something clean while you're in the middle of that, you're going to be in a pretty bad spot.
Big right hook, and Libre is looking to push the pace. Eric is doing
I'm
the right
liking-
thing here.
I'm liking this technical showing from these guys. The last fight, they just went at each other, which is always fun. But this is really just kind of showcasing how these guys strike.
They're
These
both
guys are
very
definitely pressuring each other, but you can see that they're not. They seem to be a little hesitant, maybe. Nice
Ooh,
right hook from
good
Luke.
wobble. He's catching him with that rear hook a lot in this fight.
He is, and it seems like Eric might be getting just the least bit frustrated. Tried to. Oh my god!
Oh my god!
Wow.
Nasty
Wow.
overhand.
Beautiful
end the fight.
overhand. Oh my goodness.
Guter Kampf indeed, man. What a fight.
Wow!
Oh, dude.
What
Look at
better way to
this.
cap off a filthy knockout than hitting a little jig in the middle of the cage?
Oh, that is my favorite way to end a knockout, especially one as brutal as this one. Just look how clean that overhand
See, I
landed.
want to tie that back to some of the things that Dylan and I touched on comms last week. You know, if you whiff on a kick and somebody can land something clean immediately after, things like that can happen. So you really have to be careful. But beautiful knockout for Luke.
And Libre showed flashes of brilliance with that overhand in their first fight, although it never landed as cleanly as it did here. It was just great to see, and especially with Libre's distance management there, he was playing so technically.
He was playing a lot smarter than he was in their last fight, that's for sure. He wasn't taking Eric Young too seriously back then, but he was for sure taking him seriously tonight, and he comes out with the win.
You can definitely tell he had some respect for Eric coming into this one, but he didn't let that get in the way of putting the pressure on him early. So great showing from Luke.
I agree. Things turned out really well for Libre, and that just goes to show why he has that record. He's so experienced, and if you give him just the littlest inch, he'll take everything you have in a single strike.
Well, the real question is, if I remember correctly, with this win, Luke's record sits at 8-2. Excuse me. So, where does that put him in the title picture?
Gotta think he's coming up real soon. I mean, after a win like that, I mean, beautiful knockout over the number 3 guy. I mean, if he doesn't get a title shot next time he fights, it might be the time after that if he has another knockout like this.
I think with such a convincing win over the number 3 ranked guy, I could see Luke fighting the winner of the Austin and Jay fight for that interim belt. Definitely.
And I can see that too. That would be a great matchup to make. Whoever wins that fight is going to have a real challenger in Libre.
100%.
And that's why we'll move on to our next fight. Ben Walker versus Jose Alto.
Now, Ben Walker versus Jose Altamirano, sorry. This should be a good one. I mean, I fought both of these guys plenty of times. Let me tell you, they just swing. I mean, you know, I had Jose in our fight, but he entered the Matrix in round 3. So if he enters the Matrix again here tonight, I don't know what to tell you. He's a deadly, deadly striker.
And we may just see the Matrix come out. This
Coming
going to
right
be a
off
great
the
fight.
start, Ben Walker is landing some good straights.
they're both throwing with such accuracy, and you can see those leg kicks are starting to land right off the bat.
Jose keeping his block high. I wonder if Ben Walker's going to notice that and start working the body a bit more. Working those legs a lot.
Yeah, it's some great leg work from Ben. And a
Ooh.
beautiful slip hook.
Very beautiful slips. And it seems like Ben is relying on his trainer a lot here. This seems to be a COVID arena. There's no fans that I can tell.
Hey, man, when there's no fans, there's nobody to distract these guys. They have their mission in the game plan.
Throwing those kicks in boxing range, because you can see he's getting hit pretty hard doing that.
Jose definitely has very good boxing.
He does, but Ben's kicks are really laying into Jose's leg.
That lead leg is definitely pretty close to compromised already, and we're not even 2 minutes into the first.
Oh,
he just
look
keeps
at that
firing that leg kick off.
Oh, there we go. Finally a check from Jose.
And is it too late, though? Because that lead leg really is damaged so far.
Oh, good Superman punch.
That was a very good combo.
Oh, another check. He's getting
it looks like he's getting his timing down on it.
Getting a rhythm. Ben Walker's opening up with a lot of these leg
big
kicks.
Straight to momentarily stun Ben Walker.
Oh, I didn't capitalize right away right there. Could have knocked Jose out cold. But, keep working that leg. Oh, man, these guys are just throwing at each other.
And the crane
nasty.
Jumping crane kick.
Immediately following back with the leg kicks.
Neither of these guys are being shy about putting the pressure on the other one, that's for sure.
It looks like they're ready to dump everything in this first round. They're just going at each other.
This is not a fight that's going to last all 3 rounds.
Oh, up for a rock. He's still chewing that leg up.
Yeah, you got to think he should switch stances, even if he's more unfamiliar southpaw. Oh, there we go.
Oh, and look
We've
at
been
that.
kind of underestimating Walker's.
Jose's laying it on him.
He's just throwing. Ooh, what a nice lead roundhouse, too.
But touching back on what you were saying, Kelvin, him switching to southpaw, for some people, that can completely compromise them. So that's definitely something to keep an eye on this one.
And that was an extremely exciting first round.
Case.
It might.
Oh, yeah. This has been a very fun fight to watch so far. I would be genuinely surprised if these guys make it out of round 2.
I do not
we got
see
5 minutes.
Going all 3.
And a very nice slip from Jose.
Here we go. He's laying the pressure on. Missing the crane kick.
Nice rock.
Oh, there we go. Knockdown.
This could be the end for Ben if he can't keep it under control here. And he's down to the ground.
Nice
Beautiful trip off the cage.
Going in for side saddle, but Ben Walker gets to half guard.
And he gets up.
It's a good decision from Walker. He keeps it where he's winning. And where he's winning, it's chewing up that lead leg.
And he definitely needs to watch out with that pull counter. Jose seems to be timing that head kick very close to landing.
He's just blasting those leg kicks off like nobody's business right now.
I'm
Jose's
surprised.
Leg is definitely compromised.
I'm surprised he can stand on that leg right now, dude.
Jose,
nice check.
Leg check rock.
These checks are doing damage to his rear leg there.
You're right, and Jose is just doing everything perfectly here. He's pushing Ben into a corner so that the leg kicks won't be as impactful.
Right there, just like you said, Kelvin, he had to be careful with those pulls because Jose was timing the head kick, and he landed a nice head kick as he attempted
the
pull.
knockdown.
Oh.
Hey, Jose's been doing wonders with that lead leg roundhouse. He's been landing that clean all fight. Gotta think if Ben Walker hadn't been chewing up that leg, it might have knocked him out by now.
Oh, and the big crane
Another
kick.
crane kick.
And these guys are just swinging. There we go. Nice southpaw switch. He has the round. He's got 2 knockdowns on Ben. Play it safe. 3 knockdowns. Let's go.
Jose's definitely bringing the fight to him this round.
Oh, wow.
Beautiful pull.
Oh, he's in trouble.
Here you go. Gets out of the deep waters.
And another slip. Both of these guys have landed some really nice slip counters so far this fight.
This is
These guys have
definitely
they've been
A1.
leveling up their head movement ever since the last few
And
fights.
another knockdown. What is that, 4 for this round?
Ben needs
Yeah.
to be really careful whenever
Look
he
at Ben's
does
head
that.
health.
It's
Ben's in
very
trouble
low.
here. He
Yeah.
needs to.
His head is almost as bad as Jose's
And
leg.
he stands up.
Jose could have
Yeah,
had him
about
out there.
I'm a bit confused about that move there.
He might have thought it wasn't worth it. He wants to get that nice
Wow.
shiny knockout.
And Jose knew.
This is it.
He's being patient, trying not to get swept.
He's not jumping the gun here, and he stands back up again.
He's being a little bit hesitant about pulling the trigger on the ground. But I mean, this round has been
Wow.
Ooh, what a
Oh my
straight!
God.
Gotta be careful when you enter with that crane kick. You miss it and someone hits you with that, your lights are done, man.
And we kept seeing Ben miss those head kicks and throw them from out of range. And look at this celebration here.
I don't know what his cornerman told him after round 1, but Jose flipped a switch right there and put it on him bad. And that was just an amazing showing in that second
And
round.
a classic Jose win right there, coming out from behind.
And you could tell he made all the necessary adjustments. His corner must have been invaluable in that moment.
Oh, beautiful adjustments. You know, got the switch stance. He finally switched his stance. He was checking the leg kicks a bit more, making some better reads. And I got to give him a big thumbs up. That was a beautiful showcase for both fighters.
He's going to bring a lot of trouble to this division. I mean, the ability to change your game plan on the fly between rounds like that is invaluable.
That's definitely a big skill that is super great to have.
And Jose has shown why he is deserving of that number 2 spot. Next, we will go on to the Xbox Interim Championship between Oshin McGranigan and Jay Prince. This is going to be such a banger in my opinion. And I am just waiting to figure out who I'm going to be fighting.
Oh, man. This is going to be a great fight.
You're
I mean, the Prince
absolutely
of
right.
Disrespect himself facing Oshin McGranigan. It's going to be a banger.
And just to get your predictions, Bobby, Kelvin, who do you think will win before this bout?
Oh, man. That's a bit of a tough question to ask. You know, both of these guys, BSD boys like myself, they're both killers. But I'm going to have to go with Oshin here.
I don't know, man. Seeing the way Jay Prince just styled in his last fight, I'm going to have to go with the Prince of Disrespect himself, Jay.
And I'm a bit on the fence between the two. Jay's boxing is so slick, but Oshin just has really great timing, especially when you're coming in. And he seems to like to put the gas on whenever he knows you're in danger. He can just smell blood in the water. But I expect this fight to be great. And here we will commence. And this fight will decide my next opponent potentially. Bobby, what do you think about both of these contenders?
Well, you know, like I said, they're both as game as they come. They're both really high level strikers. Jay's a bit pressure heavy, and Oshin, he's got a little bit better head movement, I think, and kicking game. But you got two guys like this, there's no chance that this kind of fight isn't a barn burner. And I feel like Oshin's coming into this fight with a bit of a chip on his shoulder. He's getting another chance at the title shot, so I think it'll be a good one.
I believe so as well. And something I notice from especially the most recent Jay Prince fights is that he's so boxing heavy. Just look at these hands. They're so lethal if he can touch you.
He's definitely not scared to let the hands fly, but Oshin's just such a tricky dude to pin down and hit consistently that I honestly don't think that Jay will be able to get his boxing going how he'll want to.
You might
That
be
sets
right.
Jay Prince's boxing apart for me. It's the fact that he's not afraid to keep throwing. I mean, a lot of guys, when they can see their stamina going a little bit low, nice leg kick right there. they start backing off a little bit to regain it. But Jay Prince, if his stamina's getting low, but he sees he has a chance to knock you out, he keeps going.
And this is very technical to start.
I just think that Alshin's coming into this one with a different mindset, you know. After our title fight, I beat him. I put on a pretty great performance. He stepped away for a bit. He's gotten some more experience since then, and his game has leveled up completely. He's an entirely different animal now. I think he's coming in this one ready to prove everybody wrong, you know. I feel like a couple people probably wrote him off when they shouldn't have. And I just feel like he's coming into this one ready to prove that he's legit. So,
I mean, he's about to have a Jorge Masvidal like career resurgence if he wins tonight.
I think the problem is that his ICF record is not indicative of his skill level whatsoever. You know, I think he's 6-5 last I checked, but his skill level does not match his record in any way, shape, or form. So, I think with a good showing here, he can shut a lot of people up and prove a lot of people wrong.
I think you're right. And if you just watch him, he's using such great head movement here against Jay. It's just kind of nullifying Jay's offense, and he's pushing him ever so more towards the corner.
He's definitely a really solid counter striker. I wouldn't write Jay off on this one. You know, there's always the threat of him landing a really nice combo, but Oishin's head movement's definitely kind of neutralizing Jay's game right now.
The thing with people like Jay is when they keep throwing, if you're good at slipping and countering, you can just lay them out.
Exactly.
But only if you know what they're going to do next.
I haven't seen Alshin really use it much this fight. He used to be a bit of a pull counter merchant, but he doesn't use it near as much. But that's definitely something that you have to be careful for.
Mm-hmm. And
especially if you're boxing heavy such as Jay.
Just looking at the way Alshin's playing this, he's being so smart, especially when he just does a mini pull. He doesn't fully commit to the pull because he doesn't know exactly where Jay is going to throw next.
Yeah, being able to not overcommit to any sort of head movement is a really good skill to have. It's something that a lot of people don't really have down. Getting a lot of these just straights and lead uppercuts in here, man.
Ooh, seeing him use that lead uppercut to straight combo, you know, not to brag or anything, but that's a combo that kind of originated in me. But it's been fun to see people take the base combo and add things behind it. You know, ooh. I've seen people, drop, but take a lead uppercut to a straight to a rear head kick maybe, or a rear uppercut to a straight to a hook. You know, and things like that can do a lot of damage.
No,
Alshin might be out here.
He's in trouble.
He's seeing stars.
Okay, Jay lets him up. He doesn't want to go to the ground. He wants to knock this man out standing.
He's definitely looking for a bit of a flashy knockout, I feel like.
And that's something that we've seen fighters do recently that hasn't been punished that much in the most recent of times.
And, you know, Jay Prince just gone to the Sugar Sean School of Striking. You throw cool-looking shit, and then you get out of there.
Well, I can speak from experience that it's not always a bright idea to stand up fishing for a knockout. I don't know if he's in the ICF, but my boy King Ragnar, him and I fought, and I think I got 8 knockdowns in a round and just refused to finish the fight on the ground. You want to know what happened? I got 1-2 head kicked and flatlined. Don't play Richard Food, boys and girls. Don't do it.
Ooh. Did you guys see that lunging straight? Perfectly distanced.
And a beautiful slip straight, too, right at the end of the round. Ducking that overhand.
It seems like Jay is leading a little too much with these straight punches, and it's just giving Alshin a chance to chip away.
He's chipping away at that health. You got to think Jay Prince is feeling pretty good going into round 2 with 2 knockdowns. Or maybe he's getting a little bit overconfident. You know?
There we go. Counter I talked about. Now he's putting the pressure on.
Ooh. And Alshin is not making the same mistake as Jay.
Getting out of the clinch, right into a body uppercut. Nice.
And a beautiful block from Jay.
The hands are so clean.
And neither of these guys are scared to let the hands fly right now. You just love to see it.
They are trading knockdowns in this round so far. I mean, both these guys' head health is just staying low.
At this point, I'm curious if there's going to be any adjustments from either guy to kind of take their foot off the gas a bit, or if they're both just going to be wide open for the rest of the fight until somebody goes to sleep.
Well, I have been seeing Jay start to lead with the hook more. And the way Oshin has just been slipping to that side, it could catch him.
I mean, Oshin has a slight stamina disadvantage over Jay Prince. So he's got to keep that in mind.
That's a
It's
bit
not
odd to see.
huge yet, but...
Typically, it's Jay that's down in the stamina. He's super pressure heavy, you know. Drains himself a bit more, but
he's reining himself in a little bit. Oh,
Body
nice
rock.
body kick.
some great defense from Oshin there.
I'm not sure how he's still standing. He's been knocked down and rocked so many times.
It's
Hey
just a
man, it's
dog,
that
man.
classic Irish coolness. This dude, cool as a cucumber under pressure.
He's as tough as nails, man. He's one of those guys you have to starch him out like just cold.
Oh, real close there.
Ooh, when
In a
both
rocked,
men.
while he's rocked.
Jay throws that clean uppercut while rocked and returns the favor.
Getting in those jabs, you love to see it. Going a little bit wild there.
And this footwork is unparalleled here.
And Jay's definitely working that jab pretty hard. What was that, 6 he just threw in a row?
Whew.
Oh,
Boxing range. That could have went bad.
could have went bad, but it hit pretty clean. But you gotta think, if he was just back a little bit further, might have ended the fight there. Nasty
Knee to
knee.
the head.
You hate to take those, but you
To
love
me,
to
it seems like Oshin needs to. His range seems to be just a tad bit off. You know, he's firing these 1-2s off, but they're not really doing a whole lot. He's got a bit of a taller calf, and he's trying to work inside the pocket with this, and it just doesn't seem to be doing much.
I agree. He needs to keep his distance just a little bit more.
That, and I
Take
would also
advantage
like
of
to
it.
see him stop trying to stand and trade with Jay in the pocket, you know.
Yeah, because Jay is just firing off as soon as Oshin just comes in.
Neither of them are scared to let their hands fly in the pocket. Neither of them are scared to stand and trade. And, you know, it's a recipe for a knockout.
Whew.
Oh, this head health is getting dangerously low. But then every
Beautiful
time it
rear
seems like
uppercut.
Jay's
Oh.
has an advantage.
Oh!
Oh,
my goodness
get that
gracious.
hook! Oh, right through
Beautiful
the
rear
block.
hook.
Let's go.
Wow. That
He
was
did it.
absolutely massive for Oshin. And this
The
is our
pride.
new Xbox interim champion.
Pride of Ireland has finally done it. He's claimed himself another belt.
Look at that, straight through.
Ooh, nasty, man.
That was a beautiful
Gotta think
rear
the
hook.
IRA is real happy to have their name right back there. On
I feel
his
like
back.
you were touching on earlier, Kelvin, saying he's like a shark when he smells blood in the water. You know, you get rocked against him. You better pray because he's about to lay it on you, and he did just that, and he got the knockout win. So, congrats to Oshin. Finally got the belt.
And I believe Jay letting him up there in the first round. If Jay just kept hammering on, he could have finished
Could have
him.
won.
Yeah, in my
That-
opinion.
That is a bit confusing looking back at it. You know, I could see where maybe he just didn't feel comfortable on the ground, but that's not really a risk you want to take, especially in a title fight. So, definitely came back to bite him.
That it did. And Jay, he showed amazing combos in there, great distance management. But right there at the end, it just seemed a bit too much for him to take in that last hook.
Yeah, that
I mean,
fight didn't go quite as long as I would have liked, but that was a barn burner without a doubt. So,
You love
excellent
to
fight
see
to watch.
guys come from what seems like deep waters, drag themselves out, and just get the win.
well, you have
I
these
mean,
two
Jay
guys
Prince
that are
laying
just
into Oshin tonight.
they're just junkyard dogs. You know, they have no problem going out on their shield, and both of those guys are guys that can dig deep and find that fire within themselves to just keep pushing and get the win. So, great fight to watch. Great showing from both guys. And again, congrats to Oshin on the belt.
Extremely. This whole night has just been firework after firework, and it seems like every fight just gets better and better as the night goes on. And going into our next fight, Charles Brunson versus Hussein Ofair. What do you guys think about this matchup? Personally, I think Brunson is a bit much to handle, and I haven't seen too many of Hussein's previous bouts, but he is in for a real challenge here.
And Hussein's coming into this fight 4-0, if I remember his record correctly. He has not been defeated before facing Charles Brunson tonight.
I'll be completely honest with you. I haven't seen Hussein fight that I can think of off the top of my head, so I really can't give a prediction on this one. But, Charles, he's coming off of 2 really convincing wins over such a dominant former champ like Chip that I might have to lean towards Charles regardless, despite my immense hatred of him.
And tonight,
Hell might have just frozen over, Mike. Because was that Bobby siding with Charles Brunson?
for once in his entire life, I believe that was.
You got to give him props where props are due, man. Charles is an animal. I'll give him that.
And Bobby definitely gives those props.
Oh, Brunson deserves those props, 100%, but Hussein Ofair cannot be undervalued in this matchup. I mean, just last week, we saw Dennis Hind O'Malley absolutely pick apart John Cage, who brings the fight to the champ in Dogu. I mean, this man, he has a 5-1 record, Dennis Hind O'Malley. That one in his record comes from Hussein Ofair. I mean, Hussein beats some killers.
And that explains just why this co-main event is going to be so great right from the initial bell. And now we will get into this fight.
Here we are coming into our co-main event of the evening. Hussein Ofair facing the current PlayStation Light Division champion, Charles Brunson. He's had a pretty good title reign so far. 2 wins over a dominant ex-champ, Chip.
And Chip was so dominant that almost no one gave Brunson the chance. No one would have thought that Brunson would have taken it so definitively.
And then he knocked him out. And then they had an immediate rematch. And he subbed him. This man is dangerous at any aspect of grappling.
You're not wrong.
And much like his Chip fights, he opened with an immediate takedown attempt on Hussein Ofair.
That's not something you see so often.
He's definitely a dangerous dude on the feet, but especially on the mat. I think coming into this, he'll probably strike like always, but he's definitely going to be leaning towards a grapple-heavy game plan.
Absolutely, but Hussein Ofair had a pretty good takedown defense right there, stopping that takedown.
But like you were touching on, he's got 2 dominant wins over somebody as good as Chip in title fights. He's coming into this one looking for a 2nd title defense and 3rd title fight win overall. So,
and Hussein's combos are looking very clean early on, but Charles seems to just know when to counter with that takedown.
His level changes are definitely a thing of beauty. He's mixing in his takedown threats really well so far.
He really understands just how the grapple advantage works, and that's pretty rare to see.
Both of these men are showing a great understanding of the grappling realm. Even Hussein just using his grappling defensively.
And his defensive wrestling is definitely like nothing to sneeze at. He's able to get up pretty quickly. It's pretty hard to get up from beneath Charles Brunson. I mean, he's so good at that top pressure. In denying like that right there to take back mount.
That denial was such a crisp, clean denial, and you don't really see that get-up denial or that mount denial from Hussein.
And being able to time that mount denial is honestly like really impressive.
And that's the
I'm not
second
surprised. This man has a glorious man bun. I mean, of course he can do that.
You're right. It's that man bun giving him all of his power, but Charles coming out with something very unorthodox.
I've never seen an overhand into a spinning punch, but man, that just looked crisp. Oh, missing with the sidekick.
Hussein might be timing that correctly.
when this fight stands up, it seems like Hussein is getting the better of him. He's able to kind of slip in between these strikes and land these small hitting, but hitting nonetheless, punches, getting these jabs into body uppercuts. But as soon as he gets that momentum going, Brunson just stuffs him with a takedown.
And this ground and pound defense is looking good from Hussein so far. Bobby, what's your opinions on what some of these guys could be doing better?
That's a great question, Mike. I'll be honest with you. Grappling is a bit out of my realm, so I try not to speak on it too much.
I feel you. Grappling is something I'm still learning myself. So it's nice to see fights like this to kind of show me the way.
Absolutely. If you watch close, you'll see that Hussein is doing something very smart. He's waiting for Brunson to gas himself out a little with all this ground and pound. And Hussein seems to be using that to his advantage, to get either into full guard or to get up straight away.
And a good takedown denial from Hussein like that. And these guys, they're going at each other. But Brunson just goes at you a different way. Most guys like to just swing and bang against you, but he likes to swing and bang only when he's in some dominant position on the ground. Postures up and then he just lets it. Here we go, knee on belly. This is a good place to be if you want to be on top.
You can definitely do a lot of damage from that knee on belly position.
Ooh, great denial from Affair there, though.
Oh, and the cameraman.
Beautiful sweep. I mean, this man, he got so excited about seeing Hussein take top, he couldn't contain it. And it's doing a little jump around the octagon. But here we go.
Going for the big submission at the end of the round. Trying to secure himself the win in the eyes of the judges. Very intelligent.
If it were earlier in the round, he might have been able to get it, but Hussein had some pretty good sub-defense, even from what little we saw there. Now, Bobby and Mike, I'm wondering, how would you guys score this fight so far?
I'll let
I
you
would
go,
give
Bobby.
it to Charles, for sure. Hussein's not out of this fight at all. You know, I'd give him the edge on the feet, but Charles is definitely doing a lot of really good work with the level changes and the takedowns and just the wrestling game in general. Done a lot of damage and whatnot. So I'd give the first round to Charles.
Absolutely, and I'd do the same. Even though Hussein is showing flashes of great striking on the feet, it just doesn't seem to be enough to make sure that Brunson doesn't take him down.
I mean, if he had more time on the feet, maybe he'd be able to put some more stuff together, but he's not able to equalize the points that Charles has gained on the ground with the points that he's getting up top. Not able to secure a wobble, not able to really secure a knockdown. And if you can't get that standing up, you can't win a round.
Props to Brunson just for doing what got him to the title picture in the first place. Some guys, when they get up there, especially in rank, will decide that they're going to try to balance things out. And some can go a little bit too heavy into the striking round.
A lot of really heavy ground and pound.
Charles Brunson really just knows his grappling got him to the top, and his grappling will keep him to the top. And then another ground and pound knockout from Charles Brunson, the second of his career as a champ.
Charles Brunson with the big ground and pound. He's just able to pull that out of his hat so seamlessly at any moment. And it feels like he's using those ground and pound moments when he postures up to gauge what his opponent will do.
I wasn't so sure of this after the last fight, but after seeing him win again against a guy who is as good as Hussein, coming in 4-0 into this fight, boys, I think the PlayStation Lite division is entering the era of Brunson.
I wouldn't disagree with you, Kelvin. That was absolutely outstanding from Brunson.
On just the pure amount of takedowns this man is able to land. I mean, honestly, it makes me think he's coming from the mountains of Dagestan.
And he definitely showed he had some training with those Dagestani mountain men, especially tonight.
Some crazy mountains, man. They turn people into animals.
Dude, he's wrestled a few bears in his day, and you can see that with how he just lays on top of you.
The
And here we
takedowns
are.
seemed to be so hard for Hussein to stop in that fight. But as Kelvin was saying, here we are, ready to go into this main event between Dogu Altunay and Dominic Artem Lopov.
Now, Dominic Lopov, he's a great fighter. I mean, he has earned his #1 contender spot. He is a great grappler, and he is a great striker. But man, Dogu is just on another level with his striking. It'll be interesting to see if Dominic can really mount the Turkish monster we have reigning in the PlayStation Heavy division.
Dominic definitely has a really tough task ahead of him in Dogu. We've seen before that he's just a masterful striker. So, I hope this shapes up to be a good one. But if we're talking about predictions, I might have to go with Dogu in this one, fellas.
And I'm going to have to echo that sentiment. Dogu has just always seemed like a dominant champion. I mean, we did see a few holes in his game with the last card, where getting stuck in that awful crucifix position. But I believe Dogu, as the champion he is, will come back, make some adjustments, work on things, small things like that. And that'll ensure that he might be able to keep his title tonight.
I mean, Lopov, he saw that last fight, and you know that he's coming in here to grapple. I mean, on the receiving end of this man's top pressure, I can say that it is top notch. You know, I might have had him right where I wanted him, but apparently right where I wanted him was winning that fight.
Haha, you're correct about that. Things can change so quickly in this octagon. And now, on to the main event.
All right, everybody. Getting into our main event, the PlayStation Heavy Division Championship. We got Dogu Altunay looking to defend his belt once more against the streaking Dominic Lopov. Fellas, what are some predictions and just general thoughts on this fight as we get it underway?
I'm thinking Dogu's going to do everything he can to keep it on the feet, and Dom's going to do everything he can to keep this on the ground.
I'm going to tend to agree with that. But just looking in these first few seconds, watching Dom fish for those leg kicks and that takedown that almost got him rocked.
Surprised that kick didn't do more damage to Lopov.
He just narrowly avoided damage from that kick.
Great takedown speed. I mean, Dogu's no slouch on the ground. He is champ for a reason. He has a well-rounded game. But it's just that his striking is so next level. Keeps it standing.
And Dogu with great takedown defense. And you can see that southpaw stance is kind of giving Dom some troubles.
Really trying to focus in on that leg, but that was a clean front kick right there.
Definitely seemed like Dominic, while landing that beautiful takedown there, it seems like he's taking the more aggressive approach to start this fight, which is coming off a bit confusing to me in a way.
I agree.
Well,
it is a little bit.
I guess it's hard to go full-out offense against Dogu. I mean, he can just read how you throw if you throw too much, and then night's over. He taps into the Matrix, and you're taking the blue pill.
Well, Dom may be taking a page out of Justin's book from Dogu's last title defense. You know, towards the end of the fight, I don't know if you guys remember, he put his foot on the gas a little bit more. And while he lost the fight, he was definitely seeing a little bit more success, putting the pressure on him. So maybe that's the game plan Dominic has coming into this one, trying to get Dogu on his heels and seeing if he can work his wrestling in there as well.
Agreed, and
Great
sharp.
single leg right there.
Very sharp with that turn. Conditioning Dogu for the first, I would say, half of that round.
And he's trying to establish that takedown threat. If he can get Dogu to keep that block low, afraid of that takedown, he can start ripping off some of these higher, harder hitting attacks. Wild front kick there, but you know, close the distance, got a takedown. Can't call it a bad decision if it gets him into the dominant position.
And I'm seeing shades of Brunson here. Just a little bit in Dom, and the way he's mixing these takedowns up. He's still going for that quick takedown, but it seems to be working here. Oh.
Beautiful reversal.
Here we go. What's Dogu gonna do? Is he gonna keep top? There we go. Going to side control. Just pounding away at that body. Man, I'd hate to be those ribs right there. Here we go. Dogu wanted to tell Dom, listen, man, I know you're good at grappling, but so am I.
Yeah, Dogu's definitely not somebody that you can disrespect on the ground. You know, obviously he specializes in striking, but he's no slouch on the mat whatsoever.
Not at all.
So you have to be on your toes at all times against him.
And I would have liked to see Dom capitalize more whenever Dogu starts missing these kicks.
Dogu's doing a lot of inside and outside movement. He starts trying to maybe catch him when he's coming in with body attacks. It's spinning back kick to the body, something like that. Might be able to equalize this, because looks like he has a very slight stamina disadvantage when compared to Dogu.
I mean,
It's
they're landing some
close.
pretty good shots so far. A couple of nice slip counters from both of them.
And Dom he seems to be just a little inefficient with his energy here.
Definitely a lot of wasted energy. A lot of whiff strikes and big things that are just hitting Dogu's gloves. I think he'll need to tone that down a little bit if he wants this fight to get it into the latter rounds without him being completely gassed.
And he switches to southpaw.
Beautiful
What
screen.
great takedown defense from Dogu yet again. Oh, you love to see those combos.
Ooh.
Oh,
Level change. Beautiful.
and when you catch people when they're lunging to the side like that with a body roundhouse, it rocks you. It makes you think a little bit differently about the fight.
It's a big knee landed for Dogu there.
But as we come up on the end of this round, how would you guys score this?
I believe I'd say Dogu just edged it out right there at the end of the round.
Yeah, I'll have to agree with Mike there. That was definitely a really tightly contested round, but I do think that Dogu gets the edge in that one.
I think judges can be strange, so it might go to Lopov just for those takedowns, but
Well, he definitely did some really nice work on the ground, but Dogu landed some pretty nice shots on top of the rock that he got late in round one, so
that is true.
I'll have to give him that one.
And even though Dominic is landing some shots, they don't seem to
Ooh.
really be having an effect on Dogu's chin. Oh, wow.
Oh,
Overhand. Straight to the
flipping the
body.
flying knee, hitting an overhand. You love to see movement like that in a title fight. Another
Dom's
front
really
kick.
tried to get that front kick to land this fight, and I don't think I've seen it land but once. I'd like to see him tone that back a little bit, just to conserve some energy.
I agree with that, and I believe that Dom was having a little more success switching to southpaw, just because Dogu might not be the most used to fighting other southpaws.
There he goes with it again.
Coming in with these hooks, but that nasty knee from Dogu just almost rocked his body there. You can see a cut has opened up on Dom's cheek there on the left side, just under the eye. His legs are getting torn apart from those checks and leg kicks from Dogu. I mean, when it's standing up, Dogu just has the advantage.
Dom is now getting a little hesitant to get in there.
Trying to keep his distance, time those takedowns, and get him down to the ground. But holding Dogu down, that's a hard task than it really seems. A harder task, I should say.
Look at that body. It's starting to redden up on Dom's side. Dogu's doing a good job just chipping away there.
Another get up from Dogu right there. I mean, he is a slippery man on the ground. He is hard to get a hold of. Taking a page out of the Greeks' book back in the early Olympics. First time they'd all cover themselves in oil then wrestle. He's just a slippery dude.
That sounds like a good time to me, man.
Oh, I bet it was a lovely time.
And let's just say Dominic seemed to be going for that strategy in the beginning, but he can't hold Dogu down at all. Seems like he might have no answer here.
Yeah, he's definitely not having a whole lot of success on the ground. You know, he's done some decent work there, but it doesn't seem like he can quite get his game plan set effectively, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, he's able to get him down to the ground. I mean, he's gotten a few takedowns in through Dogu's armor, but he just can't keep him there. Here we go, a lot of distance here. These guys are trying to catch each other. Another takedown. This is what I like to see. He knows the best chance he has is winning. Best chance he has at winning is going to the ground. So what's he do? He tries to time these takedowns.
And the leg kicks might be the biggest success that Dom is having here.
I mean, that being said, his right leg is still hurt from all those checks from Dogu. I mean, dude basically has steel bars for bones down there. He's had 2 leg health events on Dom just by checking. And that wobble right there.
But the front kick seems to be landing more so stationary than when he's throwing it while moving.
There's a nice takedown.
Well, here we go, denial.
With about a minute left in this round, I've noticed that both fighters have lost a fair bit of stamina rather quickly. So I was wanting to get your guys' thoughts on how you think that might affect both of them.
That's sapping Lopov's ability to get in these situations where he can find success. That stamina, as you saw right there, Dogu was so easily able to get into that backside position.
And when you're at a stamina disadvantage like Lopov is right now, you don't want to be on the bottom, because it makes your denials harder to reach, and it makes the opponent easier to deny. Or the opponent can deny you more easily. You know, just laying on Lopov on the ground. My God.
Dogu wants to show his best chops on the ground here. Although Dom gets up.
Interesting to see that he didn't try to sweep him and take top position.
Oh, and a hit after the bell.
Nice kick to end the round there. Might have been a little cheap, but I guess the ref didn't see that one.
That leg started moving before the bell, so it's legal.
That it is, though. Who knows if that damage helped Dom out at all.
You know, that's how Jermaine Durandamy beat Holly Holm. Maybe that's how Artem Lopov becomes heavyweight champ.
Well, coming into this third round, fellas, you know, looks like Dogu's got a bit of a stamina advantage, and it's quite possible that he's up 2-0 so far. So I was wanting to get your guys' thoughts on, you know, what his mindset might be, you know.
I believe that
how he'll continue this fight, you know, game plan wise, or just where he might be mentally at the moment.
And I'll let Kelvin speak to that first.
No, thank you, my man. Well, I was just going to say, Dogu's got to be feeling pretty comfortable right now. You know, he knows that he has a pretty good grasp on Lopov's grappling, pretty good at sweeping up and taking top, and he knows that he's better at striking on the front.
And I tend to agree there, especially in this case where it seems Dogu is just getting into those better positions always. And just looking at this,
an interesting one to see. Round 2, I feel, definitely goes to Dogu. Round 1 probably goes to Dogu with that last second wobble. But you know how judges can be. They can be pretty strange.
You're right, and it looks like Dom might have just picked up on an adjustment. Mid
Well, I
fight.
think the big turning point in the second round was just the fact that Dominic really couldn't get his wrestling going quite as well as in the first round. Dogu did a lot of really good work stopping takedowns. And when the fight did make its way to the mat, he held his own pretty well. So I would definitely give that second round to him.
I like how Dom is being a bit more patient here.
He's definitely slowed his pace up a little bit. Seems like he's not as desperate, I guess would be the best way to say it.
It's definitely a good game plan change from him. Because if he kept it up, he'd have an even larger stamina difference than he does right now. Slowing it down evened it up pretty well.
Well, I'm thinking that he might be keeping an eye on his stamina and his leg health. I don't know if either of you have noticed, but both of his legs are getting rather low. But
I mean, those checks from Dogu are just hurting him, man.
I think he might really turn it up looking to get the fight to the ground because he hasn't really found much success on the feet. He's definitely losing the striking exchanges with Dogu so far.
But he landed a real nice lead roundhouse right there.
He's been landing very good kicks here. And honestly, if the round keeps going this way, it could be scored the first round for Lopov if the judges have not given him the first round.
Both men seem a
Another
bit
front
hesitant
kick.
here. He's really in love with that front kick. He reminds me of myself a little bit with it. And the leg
Oh.
drop.
Man,
I wonder
his
at thi-
knees are hurting.
I wonder at this point in the fight if Dogu has noticed that Dom's legs are beginning to get a little bit compromised.
I think
And
he
if he'll
has.
start
He's starting,
firing some leg kicks off on those,
yeah, he's starting to work leg kicks in more. I mean, it's hard to ignore that big glowing red weak spot around his knees there.
Oh, and Dom gets reversed.
And every time this fight goes to the ground, it's always Dom on top, and then immediately after, Dogu sweeps.
It's another reversal.
Here we go. This is what we want to see.
His own here. He's definitely not a slouch on the ground by any means. I think he's showed that pretty well this fight.
Not at all. Dogu is just barely leading the stamina charge.
Nice denial there. Gets in a half guard.
Gets into side control. Very dominant position. That's where you really want to be on top. Half guard, or side control. 'Cause that's where you have the most power.
Another reversal.
These men
Oh,
are
going to
very
take top
versed in the
there.
ground.
Here we go. Mounts up. Starts raining down these punches. This is what you want to see. He's got a slight stamina disadvantage. He wants to try to stay on top.
Speaking on the stamina, we got about 30 seconds left in the third round. It seems like both men's gas tanks are starting to get a little low. So I think that both of them are going to have that in the back of their head, wanting to conserve energy. Or maybe they just both come out in the fourth round and they want to go out in a blaze of glory and just let the hands fly, Nice
Oh,
front kick from Dom.
and really caught Dogu right there.
It seems like a lot of those front kicks have just hit Dogu's gloves, but the couple of times that they have landed were pretty nice shots. They did a pretty fair bit of damage, so
Definitely.
The
And
volume
Dogu,
from Dogu is just amazing.
it is. And Dogu stole that third round away again with all those leg health events.
100%.
At this point, Dom needs something big.
yeah, we're getting into the championship rounds here. Like Kelvin has said, the judges can be a little funky sometimes, but it's not a stretch to imagine that Dogu's up 3-0 right now in this fight. So I think we might see Dom maybe turn the pressure up a little bit more, possibly try to get a sub, A beautiful overhand.
You gotta start focusing on some area of Dogu's body. I mean, if he keeps trying to do this moving to head, moving to body, moving to leg, I mean, his health in total isn't really going down anywhere except that right leg. Meanwhile, you look at Lopov's health, his head's down, his body's been worked on, and both of his legs are just hurting.
Well, I try my best to remain neutral But at this point in the fight, I don't really see Dominic mounting anything because he hasn't had an answer for Dogu. You know, he's lost the striking exchanges, and while you could argue that Dom has won the grappling exchanges, you know, he's landed some takedowns, he's done some decent work on the mat. He hasn't really done a whole lot of damage. You know, looking at Dogu's health, his body's practically untouched, and his head is still rather high. So,
And I wouldn't even necessarily say that Dom is winning these grappling exchanges. Even though he seems to be able to get Dogu down, it seems like he can't keep him there, or Dogu can just reverse the position.
Dogu's definitely hit a lot of really nice reversals and done some nice damage on the ground himself. So, at this point, I really don't know myself what the answer would be for Dom here to win this fight.
And I
If
believe
Dom wants to win this fight, at this point he needs a sub or a flash KO.
something
As
big.
we all know, Dogu's one loss to Steve Austin came from a pull uppercut. If he can mount that type of return, might be able to steal the championship.
Yeah, I never want to write anybody off. Everybody's always got a chance, but it's looking a bit unlikely at this point. But that's the wonderful thing about MMA. You never know what could happen.
Oh,
Oh,
It, Dom's in trouble. I think this might be it.
Dom is not
Great.
letting it go so easy.
No, it's not.
Dominic Lopov has got some heart to keep coming in like this. 'Cause, I mean, he is bloody, torn apart. He's got cuts on both sides of his head,
And
but
he
he's
tried.
just going
He
in.
attempted it.
Oh, what a good fake. But I
Here
don't
we go.
think it's
Let's see
enough.
how it goes.
Doesn't look like he's going to get it, fellas.
No, it doesn't. He's able to pass into the next gate, but Dogu's too far along to
Position
escape.
different from Dogu.
He's got his stamina down. Oh, there we go. Gets right back up.
You have to think at this point in the fight, Dominic may be panicking just a little bit. You know, you get a submission attempt on somebody that has low stamina, and it doesn't work out for you, like that one.
It definitely messes with your head a little bit. So, I mean, when you have low stamina like that, that is a recipe for a submission win. Ooh, nice overhand.
Oh,
The Rock.
Going out to the body.
and Dogu has
Oh,
dialed in on that.
Sap of energy.
Oh!
Once again.
Just diving down to that ground and pound. But he wants to knock this man out. He's a little bit annoyed at these constant takedowns and constant front kicks.
I think this is the point in the fight where Dom really has to be careful in these striking exchanges, especially
Absolutely.
against somebody that's a high level of as Dogu. You know, you can't afford to slip up. And beautiful overhand again.
Able to rock the champ there, but not quite able to keep that pressure going, keep that momentum up.
I believe
But he
that's
gets
his first rock all fight. Correct
It
me
just
if I'm
seems
wrong.
like it's a tad bit too late for him here with the Rock. You know,
Tad bit too
Maybe-
late, yeah.
maybe
But
if his stamina wasn't roughly halfway depleted, you know, he might have been able to get a nice little combo put together there and maybe get a drop. But I just feel like it's too late in this fight.
He was just too tired. I think you're right, though, Mike. I think that might have been his only rock so far in this fight.
Well, gentlemen, going into the fifth and final round, I wouldn't think that it's a stretch to say that Dogu's up 4-0. Now, the real question is, may we see one of the greatest comebacks ever in this round?
We haven't seen Lopov in round 5. He might be a mythical creature. But that head and that leg, it's just too hurt.
Round 5, Lopov is still throwing.
You gotta commend him for that heart.
He's definitely still here. He came here to fight, and he's showing that.
Oh, here we
power
go.
take
Nice
down.
slam.
Just start throwing the man around the octagon. That's what I wanted to see at the start. But you know what? He got it now. He's able to get him down, just laying on that rib. Trying to tenderize that meat.
Another reversal from Dogu.
Dogu seems to be doing better at tenderizing than Lopov. That's for sure.
Lopov's face is a little bit soft. It's getting hurt.
Just look at how red it is.
And it's starting to look like Lopov has been taking training advice from Thiago Alves. Walking out here with these bad knees. Every time Dogu gets a clean kick on them, it's just another wobble. Eating away at that block.
And the head movement seems like it's non-existent at this point for Dom. He's just
Here we
eating
go,
the
another
shots from the
takedown.
block.
Dogu taking full guard. This is where you want to be when you're on the bottom.
You got that full guard momentum transition.
Oh, good denial from Lopov right there. His stamina's getting pretty low. They're starting to even out stamina-wise.
And when you're this tired, it could literally be one shot that changes the entire course of the fight.
It starts becoming less of a throw game and more of a chess game when you get this low. Focusing on those one hits that just does the most amount of damage.
Oh. And if Dom can hammer
we go.
this in,
Well, throw those elbows, Dom.
and it
Might have
might
lost
be late,
crucifix.
but Dom is now finding some kind of success on the ground.
Just needed to get Dogu tired, but he couldn't get him tired quick enough. You know what? Right now, he might be able to finish this fight.
He's got 2 minutes. Let's see if he can do it.
He can clearly see the path he needs to take to victory, and that is either a sub or a ground and pound knockout.
I personally don't see him subbing Dogu, just because look at this masterclass defense.
I don't see it happening right now either, not unless Dogu is at empty stamina and Lopov out here is at his full. He's able to keep top position. That's really all that matters. He might not exactly be winning this round, but when he's on top, it sure looks like he's winning.
There's another full guard momentum transition for Dogu.
Dogu is very good at that and making sure he can mix that up as well.
Here we go, lets him up. We've seen a lot of let-ups in the last couple of cards. Let's hope this doesn't come to bite Dogu.
And you can hear Dom's corner saying, "You're behind." Even
Needs
they
to
know.
fish for a finish.
You're right.
Yeah, you'd have to think that Dominic is in absolute desperation mode right now, but I just think that he doesn't have the stamina to mount anything at this point.
Neither does Dogu on that same level.
For sure. Yeah, they're both pretty much, their gas tanks are both pretty much empty. These men have both fought their heart out for 5 rounds. And another
Here we
submission.
go. Here we go. It's a chance for Lopov to get that sub, low stamina on Dogu, but that submission defense is just top class.
Dogu's sub D, man. It's insanity.
Look at that. Just pushing the leg away like it's nothing. It sure looks like we're going to get a judge's scorecard on this fight.
And that would be the first decision of the night.
This is something I never thought I'd see, fellas. 5 rounds of real-time clock. It's definitely a bit of a unicorn in the calf league world, but
That is true. It's hard to get to decision in real time, even when it's 15 minutes. I can't imagine throwing an extra 10 on there.
And look at
making
all
it to
these
the judges.
highlights for Dogu. I can't imagine it would not go for him.
That
Beautiful
nasty
trinket
train
once
kick. Bobby, how do you think this is going to be scored?
$50-47. Shot in the dark. I would definitely
Unanimous
give all
decision.
5 of those to Dogu.
Absolutely. That was such a tough match for Dom. Dom just never was able to get that momentum he was looking for until the later rounds.
Now, once he
Definitely.
entered the championship rounds, he was able to do good work there, but it was just a little bit too late.
Yeah, it's just a case of too little, too late, you know.
And I feel like all those missed strikes right in rounds 1 and 2 were the real deciding factor of this fight.
This just reminds me of the Dogu Justin fight all over again, you know. Dogu comes out, shows why he's a champ for the first couple rounds, and then towards the end of the fight, the challenger, you know, starts getting a little bit of a good flow. But by the point that they get into that, it's a little too late, you know.
And round 1 Dogu is like round 1 Connor. I don't think you can steal that first round from this man. He's such an explosive starter, and he lures you in with subtle traps, waiting for you to come in, just so he can land those perfect strikes.
That's why he's PlayStation Heavy Division champion, man. His dominant reign continues. He is now 11-1 in the ICF.
That is an absolutely amazing record. And I believe that Dogu is definitely in contention for Hall of Fame status. I mean, this man has done so much in his tenure at the ICF.
Well, I think it'd be some blasphemy to not have him inducted, you know. 11-1 speaks for itself, and a half a dozen title fights, and Lord knows how many defenses. He's beat some top talent and done it pretty convincingly, you know, like just now. Just a 5-round masterclass. So he's definitely up for a Hall of Fame induction at some point.
And
I
now,
definitely agree with you there.
just to speak after that, what do you guys believe was the best performance on this card out of all of these contenders?
That's another tough one, man. Just like last week, it's a whole lot of bangers, man.
Absolutely.
I'm going pure performance in all the fights. It's a toss-up between Dogu and Brunson, but if we're talking about people challenging for the title, man, you cannot underplay Oshin's just comeback in his fight against Jay Prince.
Absolutely. Alsheen just showed tremendous heart and showed why he's never to be counted out. And who knows what his next fight may look like. Who knows if we're going to see Luke Libre versus him, or if there's going to be some kind of title eliminator that Luke Libre will enter. Though I believe that would be a great fight to see in the future.
I could definitely see Luke getting matched up with Oshin, you know. That's just another fight, once again, of two guys that aren't scared to let their hands fly. You know, they're both as game as they come, just like Oshin and Jay. So that's, I feel like whatever's next for Oshin is going to be interesting regardless of who it is, you know.
I agree with you.
So
He's in a really good
Xbox is
position
looking
to
really
decide.
interesting right now. There's a lot of really fun fights that are possibilities. So I'm really excited to see how all that pans out right now.
And in terms of the PlayStation division, we do have some serious contenders here in Jose and Hussein. I believe that's a masterclass matchup if it were to be made. Jose has showed incredible leaps and bounds just in between the first and second rounds of his fight tonight.
He's definitely shown that he can adapt on the fly. You know, that's an invaluable skill to have. A lot of guys, they face some adversity and they just fold. You know, he's not one of those guys. You know, he can look at what's happening and think of the necessary adjustments that need to be made and then put those into play and get the win. So him versus Hussein would definitely be a very interesting one to watch.
I agree with you. It would be a very fun matchup. But the question here after tonight is who can beat Dogu and who's next for Charles Brunson? I mean, this man is just running over the top contenders of PlayStation division.
I don't know, man. You know what this reminds me of? This gives me vibes of Amanda Nunes and Valentina Shevchenko. You have these two champions that are just so crazily dominant that it's just like, can anybody beat these people? You know?
And you have to wonder when the money fight between Brunson and Dogu will be, especially if they stay on the streak that they're on.
I feel like one or two defenses for both of them, barring either of them lose. That fight has to be made. There's no way that you can't have these two people that are as dominant as both of them are in their respective weight classes not come together and clash for champ. But like Kelvin said, who's going to beat either of them? I don't know. I can't think of anybody, honestly. They've both shown that they're the best by far. So,
and that matchup is going to be absolutely masterclass, especially Brunson's grappling versus Dogu's striking. It's such a dynamic match.
Yeah, you have a guy who can strike. He's not elite by any stretch, but he can hold his own on the feet, but is a monster on the ground. And then you have a specialized striker such as Dogu, who's just an absolute master on the feet, but can hold his own on the ground. You know, I feel like it's the stylistic matchup there would be really fun to watch, as neither of them are slouches in the other one's respective field, if that makes any sense.
With
That makes perfect sense.
Go ahead, Kelvin.
I was gonna echo what Bobby was saying there. I mean, it's hard to see think of someone grappling with Brunson, but if anyone can grapple with Brunson and survive, it's Dogu Altunay with his just astounding defensive wrestling.
And Dogu never seems to push the pace with takedowns, which might give me kind of that Israel Adesanya versus Jan Blachowicz vibe. I'm hoping that the fight doesn't particularly turn out in that standard, but it gives me those vibes of such an elite striker versus someone who's very well versed on the ground and who definitely has striking to give Dogu trouble. But on the ground, it's going to be another level completely. Though, that was a great card, and there were such fireworks all the way up until the main event.
Well, the real question is, now that we're at the end of the card, who had the most impressive finish, fellas?
Now, I believe Libre, with that perfectly timed overhand, it was such an emphatic knockout, but I'm not quite sure I'd say it's the finish of the night. What about you, Kelvin?
I'm pretty tossed up too, man. It's hard to really think because we had so many great knockouts tonight. I mean, like you said, Luke Libre's knockout was just picture perfect, clean overhand. And I mean, you have Oshin's rally in his round, come back when a lot of people would say he was behind in that fight, getting that beautiful KO.
And the worst part about Oshin's KO is that he was running so low on stamina, and it was that last punch, just that last tiny bit to get him over the finish line that seemed to make it so emphatic.
Yeah, for me, it's a bit of a toss-up between Jose and Oshin. You know, Jose, touching on this again, showed just some beautiful changes, you know, in his game plan. He saw what needed to be done, and he went out and did it, and came back and won the fight. Oshin, on the other hand, you know, I feel like that fight was fairly even, but it was just a junkyard dog kind of scrap, you know. Both men went out on their shield, and Oshin came out with a beautiful knockout to win the belt. So I'm kind of on the fence, you know. I might have to pick two this time around. So I'll go Jose and Oshin on this one.
And I think
Jose had a nice knockout as well, man.
I'm going to echo Jose's. Just for the adjustments. Sorry to cut you off there, Calvin, but Jose's adjustments proved to be the matter of winning that fight.
Jose is a man who he knows when his game plan isn't working, and he knows when he needs to change it, and he knows what to change it to.
Absolutely. And so, now we go on to the closing segments of the card. Bobby, would you like to close us out here?
I sure can. Thank you, everybody, for joining us to watch this absolute banger of a card. 2 weeks in a row, we've had some really exciting cards, just slap full of barn burners. Congrats to all our champions, especially our new Xbox interim champion, Alsheen, and congrats to Dogu and Charles for continuing their extremely impressive title runs. Again, thank you for joining us, everybody. I hope you all have a great day. Thank you.